So there we go, our first attempt at some nettle cordage. Hi everyone, it's Carl again from selfsufficienthub.com, and today I'm going to be trying my hand at cordage. I'm going to be making some rope from stinging nettles. So I've never tried it before, I'm familiar with the process. I'm going to go find some big stinging nettles and see if we can't make some rope. Apparently the best nettles are tall, thin stems. And I think that we've found our resource. Here, as you can see, there's a few of them actually taller than I am. They look perfect. So we're going to have a go here. I'm going to pick some and then I'm going to be stripping them basically. Okay, so I've gone and got the tripod, which means I've got two hands to operate. These are our stingers. We're going to take one from the stem. We're going to go right down as close to the bottom as we can. I'm going to hold it with one hand and cut it with the other, obviously. Oh, he snapped easily enough. I didn't need the knife. Now, I'm led to believe that if I hold it in one hand and run my other hand up the stem, I should be able to de-sting it fairly simply, even without gloves. Now, I don't know how your hands are, but my hands are fairly tough from all the, the sort of things I do, so it should be okay for me. Where you've got more tender skin is where you're gonna, feel that sting a bit more. So hopefully, just by going up through the plant like that, nice and confidently, and I'm only actually touching most of the plant with the tips of my fingers, and I'm not getting stung. So now we're going to go up the other way. Of course, you can use gloves. There's absolutely nothing saying that you can't use gloves, but that's actually gone better than I was expecting. So far, so good. I'm really actually quite pleased. So I was expecting to feel it a bit more, if you like, but we've still got a bit of stripping to do, mainly at the end. Now, the place I'm finding it tricky are these burrs, so I might just come through now and take them off one at a time. But I have to tell you that it's basically felt pretty much sting-free for me. The only stings I've felt have been on my calf while I was knocking them back, and on the back of my arm here when I was getting him out. But other than that, it's pretty good. So we're just taking off all of those little side shoots like that. I might just snap the top off. Now, everything I've read tells me that you want to go for a fairly long straight piece with as few kinks as possible, and I can see that there's still a few of the stings on it, so we're going to run our fingers up it just 2 or 3 more times, and again always from the base upwards. And I'm not getting stung at all. This isn't a trick. There's no trick to this. There's no nothing special I'm doing. I'm not magic, and I'm certainly not brave, and I'm not I'm not impervious to pain. So it's not that I'm doing anything that you can't do. So the next thing we do, once we've stripped it down like this, is we crush the fibers that are in the middle. And we do that, wow, that's hard, but we do it like this. And we work our way up the entire stem. Now, I'm told that there's another trick you can use, which is to basically use a piece of wood as an anvil and gently beat it with another piece of wood. And I might actually have to do that down here. It's so hard. But as I get further up, I can feel it slightly easier to break. Now, I am not finding it quite as easy on those joints where it had the side shoots growing out, but let's see how we get on. So I've just thought of a trick, actually, I'm going to try. And that is, I'm going to use my multi-tool. So I always carry this with me, and I think this might make short work of those really stubborn hard bits. Yeah, look at that, easy. So of course, if you don't carry something like this, then I suggest doing the other trick that I'd heard of, which is just, pop it down on a big piece of wood and hit it with another piece of wood, but you want to hit it quite gently because we're not trying to separate anything at the moment. We're just trying to soften it. And as you can see, this is doing the trick lovely. So I'm just going to work my way up the rest of the stem that I haven't yet managed to break. And what we're trying to do at the moment is make it so that the fibers are separable from the woody stem. So the next job, now we've loosened that all the way along, the next job is actually to open it up. And we're going to kind of split it in half and open it up like this. There. You see that? So we're going to open the whole thing. Right, you see? Now this bit at the bottom, I'm just going to cut that off. I'm really happy so far. So that's flat now. It's a flat piece of stem. And now the next job is to separate the stem bit from the fibrous outside, and you do it just like that. Hopefully you can pick that up okay, but effectively what you've got is these really thick pieces inside, and then this much softer fibrous, what was the outside coating. So you take them apart by snapping and then pulling, and there we go. And then I'm really happy with how this is going. There. Wow. You discard the woody fibrous bit and you're left with these fibers. So I'm going to do a few more so that we've got enough to make a decent amount of string, cordage, rope, call it what you will. Yet again, been stung on the shin, but as yet, nothing on my hands. So that's a good result. As with so many things in life, I find calm confidence is a big part of the trick, particularly when you're dealing with livestock. And I'm going to class nettles as the same. Speaking of livestock, we're about to be visited. Hello, girls. So I'm going to learn from the first one, and I'm going to go straight to the multi-tool, and I'm just going to break those knuckles. I might only do this one, so 2 stalks. I've not done it before. I think that might give me just enough to make a small amount just for the purposes of this video, and then we can maybe make a much bigger and better one in the future. Already I'm feeling that I could get quite quick at this quite quickly. There really is no substitute for doing, for trying. There really isn't. So I urge you, please don't just watch this. When you're finished, go out and do it. It's I mean, when you bear in mind how far through this entire process I am here, it's incredibly rewarding already. I feel like this is a real skill I'm learning. There, look at that. And then again, we're going to just snap it there in the middle, and then pull the fibers downwards and the hard stem upwards. Oh, so that's fibers from just 2 nettle stems. I'm going to call it a day there, because the next step is to hang these up and dry them a little bit. And on a really hot day, you can do that in just a few hours, but we don't have a really hot day and it's almost dusk. So I'm going to hang these up inside and pick this up again tomorrow. Okay, so a few days have passed. I was hoping that I would have got round to doing the rest of this little project
pretty much straight away, like the day after, but wasn't to be. Things got in the way. So it's been a few days. So these have had quite a long time to dry out. Now this is still the same fibres from just those 2 stalks. That's all that's here. Bear in mind what I'm doing is something I've never done before. So the reason I'm doing that, rather than spending a lot of time practicing and then showing you how to do it, is hopefully, if it goes okay, it's going to give you the confidence to try it yourself, knowing that even a first attempt, you know, this is a first attempt. So far, so good. Now, these have been inside my house now for over a week, so they're completely dry. Now, if I had stripped these yesterday and left them to dry out overnight, they'd be ready to work with straight away. But because they've completely dried out, we actually need to wet them a little bit. So I've got this jug of water. I'm just going to quickly dunk them in, and hopefully that's going to give us just the right amount of workability, if you like. So let's see how we get on. So that's our fibres dunked, moistened. Now I've separated out 4 fibres here, and I've got these left, so there's probably 6 or 8 there and 4 here. So these are the ones we're going to start with. Now we're going to crease them over and make it so that they're not even either side, because the idea will be, as we make our cordage starting here and work our way down, as one side of our strand runs out, we can splice new fibres onto it to continue it. We're going to start by taking these fibres here and just rolling them in our hands, and we're going to roll them quite tight. So, and as we continue rolling, as it tightens, we're going to just bring our hands together and allow it to loop up on itself. Now I'd like it to loop a bit tighter, so I think I'm going to give it a few more twists. I can actually feel it getting easier and easier to work with as the moisture from the water there works into the fibres. So perhaps I should have waited a few seconds before I started. But now you see that's nice and tight, that coil. So then we're going to bring it together, and you see it forms the loop, and then we're just going to help it on its way by tightening it up. So look at that. That's a great start. So now all we're going to do is, whichever way you originally twisted your fibre, you're going to work down and continue twisting it in the same direction. And you're going to twist one side, nice and tightly, and then you're going to hold that out of the way and then twist the other side, always moving in the same direction. And it's actually surprisingly easy and surprisingly quick. And then once you've done that, you hold the 2 together and help them on their way. Look at that. I'm already really happy with that. So let's work down a little bit further. And I can tell that with no practice at all, this is literally the first time I've ever tried this. It's actually going to be incredibly easy and not particularly time consuming. I mean, obviously it's more time consuming than buying string from a shop, but it's going to be surprisingly quick, certainly a lot quicker than I was expecting. I thought this was going to be quite a painstaking process, but I'm absolutely delighted with it. I'm really quite thrilled. And then again, we're going to put them together and then just help them on their way. Look at that. So already we've formed about just over 4 inches of string. Let's keep going. This really is just so satisfying. You can see here, our fibres are about to run out there. We started with 3 on each side,
and we've gone down to 2. So we're going to take some more lengths and we're going to just splice them onto the end. So here we have the end that's running out. So I'm going to splice on 3 more. So I'm just going to take the new 3 fibres and I'm going to hold them next to these. Now we're not worried about having this little extra bit. We can simply burn that off or cut that off after. So I'm going to hold them alongside the ones that we were using before, and we're going to just continue to spin them. So there we go. Our first attempt at some nettle cordage. I have to say, I'm absolutely thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. And it's surprisingly strong. Now, of course, if you made several of these, you can then repeat the process and make a much thicker piece of cord and effectively make rope. But for tying up plants and things, I mean, this is definitely strong enough. It is really surprisingly strong. I'm not messing about there. I'm genuinely pulling on it. So if you find these videos valuable, there's several ways you can support them. The easiest of which is to subscribe to our channel. Obviously, press this like button right in front of you there and leave a comment down below if there's anything in particular you want to ask, or if you would like to see anything in particular in future videos, let me know. We also have a podcast that comes out every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. We are the Self-Sufficient Hub podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And the links to all that are just below. We've also got a Facebook page and a Facebook group, so you can come and find us there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.